Hello, folks. My name is Mark. My peoples, where you at? One last thing I want to talk about, and that is this guy. His name is Daniel Penny. If you all remember, about a year ago, there was this case where a homeless guy named Jordan Neely was essentially murdered on the New York subway by Daniel Penny. And what happened was that Jordan Neely was making a ruckus and apparently saying some threatening things to people. Daniel Penny took it upon himself to become like the Punisher, got this guy Jordan Neely in a chokehold, and basically strangled him to death. And I am very sad to say that it looks like Daniel Penny got away with it scot-free. So he was cleared of a manslaughter charge last week, and then he was also found innocent of the charge was criminally negligent homicide. So looks like Daniel Penny is a free man. And it's like, okay, that's bullshit. Why am I commenting on it? I'm commenting on it because the right wing in this country is trying to turn Daniel Penny into another right-wing folk hero, kind of like Kyle Rittenhouse. They're trying to turn him into that kind of thing. He's going on all of the right-wing talk shows. He was on with Judge Janine or whatever the fuck her name is, right? And apparently J.D. Vance has invited him to come hang out with him and Donald Trump at the Army-Navy football game, which I guess is like an annual football game that they have between the Army and the Navy. He gets to go hang out in the presidential box with the president-elect and J.D. fucking Vance, who's going to be our goddamn vice president for fuck's sake. And it's really kind of sad and disturbing. It's really ridiculous because if you look at the actual case, this dude Penny should be in fucking jail for murder. So if you don't remember exactly what happened, long story short, this guy Neely was having a psychotic episode, right? He was homeless. He made his money by dancing. Apparently he was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and that's how he made money. He'd go on the subway, he'd turn on his boombox and like moonwalk and shit to Thriller, stuff like that. And apparently he was extremely hungry and he was kind of flipping out a little bit and like saying, I don't care if I go to jail, I need food, whatever, right? This guy, Daniel Penny, just decided to get him in a chokehold because I guess he was threatening people or something. The thing about it is that he kept him in the chokehold for like 5 minutes straight. And here's the thing about this, right? So first off, this dude Jordan Neely was skinny, like malnourished, emaciated. So he wasn't a threat, and he was not actually physically harming anyone. He was like shouting. And if you see the videos of him shouting, it's not like he wasn't even like getting up in people's faces or anything like that, screaming, that kind of thing. He was just like shouting out. It's like, I need food, I'm hungry, I need food. Like that's the kind of thing he was doing, right? So he wasn't like running up and like stealing from people or even touching anyone. He wasn't doing anything like that at all. At least from the video that I've seen. I don't know, maybe they have some other video that actually shows him breaking the law. But what crime did Jordan Neely actually do? It looks to me like his crime was disturbing the peace. That's what it looks to me like. If you go on a subway and just yell and scream and all that, disturbing the peace. What is that? $40 ticket? Like disturbing the peace is like if you have like a giant party or something, or if you're just doing something like really fucking like loud and annoying and it's driving people crazy. Like that's like, it's not even a crime per se. It's like a fucking misdemeanor, like a ticket. And somehow this guy Daniel Penny decided like, oh, well, he needs to die for this. Somehow he felt like, oh, everybody's in danger because this dude is like yelling and screaming. And he decided that he was going to be a vigilante. He was going to be like fucking the Punisher or something like that and take the law into his own hands. And here's the other thing. Okay, let's say that Jordan Neely actually was getting violent, right? If you saw the pictures of him, he wasn't a big guy. Daniel Penny was like a fucking Marine. So apparently he learned how to like put chokeholds and shit on people in the Marines, I guess. But apparently they didn't teach him when to stop because he kept him in the chokehold for minutes on end. I think it was something like 5 minutes. Well, if you do that, it's like you're cutting off someone's oxygen. That's what a fucking chokehold is. You can't just keep somebody in a chokehold for minutes and minutes on end. And apparently the guy, his body went limp and he just still kept him in the chokehold. Because, I mean, the Marines, they teach you how to kill people. Well, I guess they taught fucking Daniel Penny that part pretty well. He just kept him in there. I mean, here's the thing. If he really was just trying to detain the guy to keep everybody safe, he could have used some other method. He could have got his arms behind his back, you know, in that sort of police hold, you know, arm bar kind of thing, where you just keep you put their arm up behind his back there, and then you can apply pressure and it hurts, and then the guy stops. He could have easily done that because he was like way bigger than this dude, way bigger. Because remember, the guy's homeless, he's hungry, he's like fucking skinny, he hasn't like been eating well, shit like that. Easily could have controlled him. If that's what he was really concerned about, he easily could have got him down on the ground and held him in a fucking, like, you know, grip or whatever without having to kill the guy. And he didn't do that. He didn't even let the dude go when he stopped moving. He kept him in the fucking chokehold. And the guy died. Well, that's fucking murder. You're not allowed to just attack someone if they don't attack you. Even if you are on the subway and a guy is yelling and screaming and like saying weird shit. Did he attack anyone? No. See, Daniel Penny even said in his disposition when he got arrested, which, by the way, he wasn't arrested for like 2 weeks. And that was actually the big fucking like controversy. The big controversy for this guy is that they didn't even arrest him. It took like public fucking outrage from the black community to motivate the police to go arrest this guy. So when they finally fucking arrested him, he even admitted under questioning that the guy, Jordan Neely, was not being violent towards anyone. He admitted that. He said, yeah, he wasn't being violent. So you just attacked a guy that didn't attack anyone else. How the fuck is that not murder? Like I said in my previous video this week, you are allowed to use violence to defend yourself, right? It's to defend yourself and to defend other people. That's it. That's the only time you're allowed to use violence. And it has to be proportional. So if somebody, for example, pushes you when you're at the grocery store because they want to get the last fucking bottle of fucking like olives or some shit, and then you take out a fucking baseball bat and smash their fucking brains out, you go to jail. It's like, yeah, okay, the other guy like hit me first. He pushed me. Doesn't matter. It has to be proportional, the force. And the force can only be used to defend yourself. If you're in the parking lot after you just got finished bashing someone's brains out, and you're in the parking lot of the grocery store, and a guy bumps your car, starts acting like an asshole, and won't give you like his fucking like, you know, name and number and all that like you're supposed to when you get in a car accident, and then you take out a shotgun and you blow off both of his fucking kneecaps, you still go to prison, you see, because it has to be proportional, because the force has to be in defense. Defense only. How is this in self-defense? Who was he defending? What? Random people on the subway who weren't under threat? Yet somehow he got off. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because the victim was black and the victim was homeless. That's why. If he would have killed a white person, he'd be in jail right now. If Daniel Penny was black and Jordan Neely was white, then Daniel Penny would be in jail now. Let's just be real. That's exactly what would fucking happen. And that's the exact reason why the conservatives are trying to turn Daniel Penny into a fucking folk hero. You know, that, and also the fact that this other guy, the Luigi Mangione, the CEO killer, he's taking up all the folk hero juice in the country right now. And they want to turn the attention away from him and get it back on like a good old fashioned white vigilante and stuff. But it doesn't seem to be working, which I think is hilarious. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's because a white person killed a black person. And whenever that happens in this country, they go easy on the white person. We've seen it hundreds of times. We saw it with Kyle Rittenhouse. There's been a couple of cases where like someone will just open fire when like a black guy knocks on their door or something like that. There was one last year, if I remember, of like a 16-year-old kid who got shot through a fucking door because he like knocked on the wrong door or something. That's what it is. And every single time this shit happens, the right wing in this country, they all flock to the defense of the fucking murderer. And they're trying to do it again. And that's why Daniel Penny gets to go watch a football game with the fucking president-elect, while Luigi Mangione gets to rot in prison. It's complete and total fucking bullshit. It's disgusting. The right wing in this country, if you support this guy, Daniel Penny, you're a fucking asshole. That's all I gotta say about that. Fuck Daniel Penny and fuck everyone who supports him. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.